Hello and welcome to live coverage of the 8th edition of the Copa Merengue. We're here at the Park del Este Sports Complex in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic in the beautiful Caribbean. It's a world ranking event and the second qualifying tournament for the Central American and Caribbean Games. And we are straight into the action. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me, our resident expert, former world #1 from Great Britain, Nikki Hunt. Well, look, we're straight underway here, Nikki. We've got Maria Zebadua from Chile going up against the 15-year-old Blanca Rodrigo from Ecuador. Quite amazing at 15.
Yeah, it really is. What a match to come in to qualify for the Pan Am Games come up as well. So great opportunity.
So we are straight into the gold medal matches here. 4 in a row in this session.
Yes.
Just a little reset there. The arrow just came off the arrow
right out of my mouth.
8. Nueve. 7.
Well, high up into the 7, and that is the end of the first end here. Nikki, we got straight into the action. Perhaps you could just talk us through what we've seen as we look at these replays.
Yeah, so as you said, we're compound first up here, so they're going to shoot 5 ends of 3 arrows of raw score. So every arrow counts here towards, you know, that total score. So a few points dropped already, but all to play for. Just looking at these images, these compound archers have got magnified sights at the front, release aid in that backhand, and they're shooting over 50 metres.
Well, we move on to the second end. Each archer will shoot 15 arrows in total, and it's all about the final score. It's an accumulator, so the 2 archers will build on what they've already shot.
9. 9.
Quite a long hold from Blanca there as well. So they only get 20 seconds to make their shot before the time will switch over to the opponent.
8. 9. 9. 9.
Well, 3 9s from Rodrigo from Ecuador. Keeps her in the lead, and in fact she's extended that lead by a single point. It's some talent, isn't it, Nikki? 15 years old. She looks completely at home, and I probably should add that she is already the world number 63.
Yeah, she's been on the tour, hasn't she, already? She's shot some big tournaments. Like I say, it is a really young age, but there's nothing stopping these youngsters coming through and breaking onto the senior stage.
Well, clearly our director likes to show us every single shot in replay here, so the athletes get a little bit of extra rest, in fact, in between the ends. But at the moment, we see the Ecuadorian teenager leading 55-51. And the Zabadua, who at the beginning I said was from Chile, she's in fact from Guatemala. And it will be Maria Zabadua to shoot first in this third end.
Yes.
Fairly long hold. You can just see the bow moving around a little bit.
X.
Oh, what a shot though. Nearly on that X in the centre.
9. Posible 10.
Line cutter there, so that will go to a measure.
Yes.
Well, a better outing from Zabadua. Guatemala scoring 29 in the third end. Look at this composure from a 15-year-old. She looks so at home, doesn't she? She doesn't look like there's any nerves at all.
Yeah, she doesn't. I mean, she's got this long hold, but it seems to be consistent. So shot after shot, looking at, you know, how long is she actually for. And although she does take her time, each arrow seems really, really similar, and that's a good sign of a good archer. Compounders do tend to take that a little bit longer hold, but it's about that consistency between your shots, which can really make you a better archer.
As you said, Nikki, Rodrigo has been competing on the World Tour. She got 33rd place at the fourth stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup in Medellin. She made the top 20 at the third stage in Paris. So she's definitely tickling around the edges of the upper rankings in the women's compound archery.
Absolutely, and those are some of the highest stages to be on as well. So great experience coming into this tournament.
Zabadua from Guatemala is actually going to get her first senior medal here at the Copa Merengue. It's the start of the fourth.
Yes.
It looks like Zabadua has zoned in on the middle finally.
Bit of body sway, bit of movement. There's a bit of wind to contend with at this venue as well. But can you see how important the coach is behind her here? He's talking to her all the time. He's got his spotting scope, so you can tell her exactly where the arrow went as well. Definitely suffering with a bit of wind, I think, through there.
Yeah, you can hear it on the mics, can't you? And look at that movement. If you look at the stabilizer, just dancing around, but impressive grouping, just a little to the right of the big one.
X. X.
And finds the middle of the target. So 228 in the fourth end. A little bit of ground gained, potentially, in terms of finding the middle of the target for Zebedua.
Yeah, she's starting to look a bit more comfortable, isn't she? And like I said, I think that communication with her coach is really helping to settle her down. Better grouping, so let's see what she's doing this fifth and final set coming up. Just got a 3-point gap to make up, but it's possible, particularly in these windy conditions. You know, it really opens it up, and it only takes an 8, and things can get really, really close. So let's see what I can do.
Yeah, and it's all going to be about composure as well, because you know, I keep saying she's just 15 years old, but whilst being on that Hyundai Archery World Cup circuit and on the World Tour, this is a gold medal match and a qualifier for the South American Pan American Caribbean Games. There's a lot at stake.
Yeah, that is a big deal, isn't it? We'll be seen at those big tournaments, so great experience here.
The start of the fifth, and as Nikki Hunt said, a 3-point deficit to claw back from Zebedua, who starts with a 9.
Wow, you can just see how much that long rod's moving about in the wind and keeping the composure, sticking with the shot right into the 10.
8.
Really quick one there, quite a difference in their styles.
Big arrow this one to take the pressure off on the final arrow. Still a lot of movement, drifts over to an 8, but it matches what Zebedua just shot. Probably a 9, I think, just behind another arrow. So, yellows is all she's hit. Can she do it again?
9.
And she's put it into the 9, and that is a gold medal for the 15-year-old Blanca Rodrigo from Ecuador. And what a composed performance.
Look at the speed of this shot. I think this was a really fast one, was it?
Oficial, medalla de oro
at the front arm as well.
para Blanca Rodrigo de Ecuador. Medalla de plata para María José Zebedua de Guatemala.
Well, there we have it.
Un aplauso a estas dos grandes arqueras.
Start of something very special from this Ecuadorian archer. Taking the title here at the Copa Merengue in the compound women's division, Blanca Rodrigo will be on top of the podium just a little bit later on. Getting their photos taken, the 2 finalists. There's a lot to come from this teenager, isn't there, Nikki?
Yeah, there really is. What a great start to her career. I mean, like you said, 15 years old, fantastic to come out here and do so well.
The gold medal match
she really could be
in the compound men division.
Circuit over the next few years. Let's see if she can develop further and climb her way up the world rankings.
No time to rest here. We move straight on to the compound men's gold medal match.
En el blanco número 1, representando a Costa Rica. On target number 1, representing Costa Rica, Brandon González. En el blanco número 2, representando a Ecuador. On target number 2, representing Ecuador, Mateo Oleas. La juez de línea de este match, the line judge for this match, Talia Rojano.
Well, Brandon Gonzalez is from Costa Rica, just 20 years old, world number 110, going up against an Ecuadorian in the shape of Mateo Aleas Rodriguez, who's just 19 and the world number 54. Again, these athletes have been competing on the Hyundai Archery World Cup circuit. No medals to their names just yet, but it was a 9th place in Guatemala for Gonzalez. Will be the Costa Rican who ranked number 1 after the qualification round to get the match underway.
Yes. Nueve.
So you can see this archer using a wrist release, a strap around the wrist, and using his first finger to set that release aid off, as opposed to perhaps a more commonly seen handheld release aid, using the thumb to trigger.
Yes. Nueve.
Good group, just a bit high left, needs to make some adjustments.
Yes.
Wow, solid stuff there from Elias. Just the pace of the match has just stepped up a little bit, hasn't it? They're shooting just a little bit faster and not at full draw for quite as long.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, as we said, the Costa Rican archer using that wrist release, and quite often, as we see it now, the finger goes onto that trigger. It tends to be quite a quick process because they tend just to consciously just pull that trigger and off they go. But Mateo Olas here, he also shooting quite quickly just with his thumb. He's quite flamboyant in his style. His front and back arms exploding.
Disparada la primera serie, un punto de diferencia entre estos dos grandes arqueros. 29 puntos Mateo Leas, 28 puntos Brandon Gonzalez.
So Gonzalez from Costa Rica will get the second end underway, trailing by that single point. And I wonder if he's been listening to Nicky. Just needs to bring his group down a tiny bit, and he'll be smack bang in the centre of the target.
X.
Looks like he was listening to you.
Good job. Got to maximise those points, got a good group. Get them all in that 10 ring.
9.
But look at the posture difference to these two archers as well. So look how leant back he is. He's slightly twisted in his spine. We do see that a bit more of these compound archers. A bit more open in their stance. There's Oleas here, looking slightly more straight to the target.
Yes.
Just hitting the line, so getting the higher score. And re-establishing that 1 point lead.
8, posible 9.
Another one that's going to have to go to the target judge for confirmation. 8, perhaps 9.
X.
Well, if anything, you'd probably be looking at that as a dropped point there, the way he's shooting at the moment, Elias.
I mean, I think the conditions are really difficult, actually. You can hear a bit of the wind of the microphones. You can see things in the background blowing around quite a lot. So his composure to shoot that final 10 there was fantastic. You know, this is hard work. These targets are 50 metres away. The targets are only 80 centimetre targets, so they're pretty small. Might be the size of like the 10 rings, perhaps smaller than the back of a mug. So it's quite a small target they're aiming at.
Impressive stuff, that is for sure. You might catch in the slightly wider shot, there's a parasol behind the athletes, probably for a bit of sun protection, and that is moving around all over the place. There it is. is that final X from Elias Rodriguez. And the Ecuadorian is now 3 points ahead as we move into the third end here of this compound men's gold medal match at the Copa Merengue. Just getting a look at the coach there, Nikki. What the Ecuadorian coach on the left-hand side? What will he be saying?
He was pointing to his head at one point. I think he was just saying, "Stay focused, stay in this. You got it."
Tercera serie inicia disparando Brandon González de Costa Rica en el blanco número 1.
Well, looks like that 8 has remained an 8. So it will be Brandon Gonzalez to shoot first again.
9. 8.
Let's open things up a little bit there, isn't it?
First one in the red.
9 posible 10.
For him, that's a close one as well.
9. 10.
Solid finish there.
9.
Well, I wonder if those conditions are getting a little bit more to Elias Rodriguez right now. Gap closed up by 2 points from Gonzalez. He doesn't seem to have sort of stepped up in terms of his scoring. If anything, it's Mateo Elias that's just come down from a 29 and two 29s, I should say, in the first 2 ends.
Yeah, shooting that 26, just dropping 4 points. I mean, that's a lot to drop. Normally they might drop 4 or 5 points perhaps at this level over the entire 15-hour pass, so opened up that gap there. He's got to get himself back into this, potentially, not sure if we've got confirmation yet of the scores, but potentially only a 1 point lead now, so a real opportunity to see if Gonzalez can put that pressure on and even overtake him.
Yeah, I think you're right. Provisionally there is just this 1 point gap between them. So we still await final confirmation. As you can see, the line judge there in the middle, not only waiting to get confirmed scores, but obviously for the range to be clear and safe to shoot.
But look again at those coach interactions, as you were saying about last time, Karen. Mateo, with his back, he's kind of focused. I think he's in the zone, looking at target, thinking about what he's going to do. Whereas Gonzalez is really more interacting with his coaches, and he much more. So whether they work together more often, quite possibly, but they seem to be communicating a lot more.
Cuarta serie, inicia disparando blanco número 2, Ecuador.
So it is confirmed. A 1 point lead now, in fact, for Brandon Gonzalez has stepped up. So that was a really tricky one for Elias. He's now having to shoot first in the 4th end, coming from behind for the first time.
Nueve.
Look at the conditions again. I think the wind playing quite a big factor. Got to hold your nerve, all the pressure it's on you, and keep your bow still in these conditions. But back in there.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a match on our hands, that's for sure. Oh, what a response after a 26. Matteo Elias has just shot a perfect 30. And a 10 means that we are all square at 114 apiece. A remarkable recovery from Elias there to shoot a 30, having had a 26 in the previous end. But these conditions, isn't it, Nikki? It's blustery, it's blowy.
Yeah, incredible him to step up. I mean, psychologically, for him to have to go first, because he now knows he's trailing, it's no more obvious than you've been in the lead this whole time, and now you've got to go first because you're now trailing. I think psychologically that can be a bit tricky, but on the other hand, he got to shoot all three of his before his opponent, and sometimes, I mean, most archers would choose to do that.
Faltando una serie para que termine el partido,
and yeah,
se empata el match, 114 puntos para ambos arqueros.
So here we are on the last set then, and we're all square. It's going to be a great one.
Two young archers here. Elias, just 19 years old, with that perfect 30, up against the 20-year-old Gonzalez from Costa Rica. And these two are going to gain ranking points, world ranking points at this event. Gonzalez currently 110 in the world, Rodriguez 54.
Última serie, inicia disparando blanco número 1.
So the last end will see Gonzalez from Costa Rica shooting first. As you said, Nikki, most archers would choose to go first in this situation. Let's see how this switches around now. Gonzalez on the shooting line, 3 more arrows from each of the archers to decide this gold medal.
Yes.
So now you can hear that pressure. Feel the pressure building.
Yes.
Oh, we've got a humdinger here, haven't we?
Great shooting. See if they can do it all the way to the end.
Yes.
Oh, amazing stuff. Who is going to flinch first?
Long hold. You can see that bow moving around. He's got to make the shot. Oh.
Really could see that bow moving. He was struggling there, and now the door is open. Gonzalez can put this out of reach, and that will be enough. There is nothing that Elias Rodriguez can do about this. 143, not gettable. Want to finish as well as he can. Finishes with a 10, but it was a solid performance from the 20-year-old Costa Rican Brandon Gonzalez, and he has claimed the compound men's gold here at the Copa Merengue.
Haremos confirmación oficial de los jueces.
Final couple of ends. I don't think that, again, the Costa Rican just got slightly better with his scoring, a 29, 29, 29 finish in the last 3 ends, but he was pretty solid throughout. That 7, though, was an absolute killer for Elias, but so much movement, as you said.
Yeah, he just lost his way with that shot, didn't he? I think his process wasn't working, it wasn't going off, the bow wasn't releasing, and got caught in a bit of wind.
Oficial medalla de oro para Brandon González de Costa Rica, medalla de plata para Mateo Oleas de Ecuador. Un gran aplauso a estos dos.
Well, there is confirmation that Brandon Gonzalez Vargas is his full name, is the Copa Merengue compound men's individual gold medalist here in the Dominican Republic.
En cuanto el campo esté listo, comenzaremos con el partido por la medalla de oro en la categoría Recurve femenino.
Hola, muy buenos días. Estamos con Blanca Rodrigo de Ecuador, ganadora de la medalla de oro en el arco compuesto femenino. Blanca, cuéntanos cómo te has sentido en este torneo y en esta final.
La verdad estoy bastante feliz del resultado, a pesar de que estuvo el viento bastante fuerte, no sabía dónde apuntar, pero escuchaba bastante las instrucciones de mi entrenador, las cuales me ayudaron bastante a tener buenas flechas.
Y ahora suramericanos, ¿no?
Sí, a darlo con todo.
Okay, bueno, muchas felicitaciones a Blanca por su medalla de oro. Vamos ahora a invitar a Brandon González. Gracias, Blanca. Brandon González, que de Costa Rica gana, además de haber ganado el evento por equipos, gana la medalla de oro también en el evento individual. Hola Brandon, ¿cómo te ha parecido el torneo? ¿Cómo te sentiste en esta final?
Bueno, el torneo ha estado súper bonito, el campo está excelente y obviamente nunca faltan los nervios en las finales, pero se dio los resultados y entonces súper feliz, la verdad.
¿Cómo se siente Costa Rica al haber alcanzado las plazas para los Juegos Centroamericanos y del Caribe en este torneo?
Bueno, ese fue el principal objetivo a la hora de venir acá, ¿verdad? Pero una vez ya ganada la plaza, obviamente la felicidad nos llena un montón.
Muchísimas gracias a Brando también por su participación en estas entrevistas y les deseamos mucho éxito en futuros eventos también. Hasta luego, Brando.
How's your Spanish, Nikki?
Very poor. Sorry.
I think I got the interviewer saying congratulations. That was about as much as I can handle. But we get a good view of the venue here, and the wind doesn't look that strong, but it does seem to be a bit gusty, and we've always talked about it. You archers can handle a steady wind, but you don't like it when it's swirly and blustery.
Yeah, I'd much prefer to take a nice, constant, consistent, reliable breeze. I can adapt to that, I can change my sight, whereas those gusty, windy conditions really is much more tricky.
Well, the field has changed somewhat because now we move over to the Olympic discipline of recurve archery. 2 more gold medal matches to go, and we are now shooting on a 70-meter range. Well, unfortunately, we have lost our sound from the venue. So whilst I'd usually allow the stadium announcer to tell us who's competing and tell you that it's Elizabeth Rodriguez from Cuba on the left, and that is America's Molly Nugent on the right. And Nikki, now we move on to a set system, slightly different scoring.
Yes, it is. So it's best of 5 sets. They're going to shoot 3 arrows each. They're going to shoot them alternatively. If they win the set, they get the most points out of those 3 arrows. They'll get 2 points. If they tie it, they get 1 point each. We're looking for 6 points. 6 points is the win. 5 all, we go to a shoot-off.
And just in time, we've got our sound back from the venue.
Inicia disparando blanco número 1, Cuba. Target 1, shoot first.
So Elizabeth Rodriguez from Cuba will get this match underway.
8. Nueve posible 10. 9 possible 10.
Well, the sighters are out of the way. Little left for Rodriguez. Still
interesting. Yeah, well, she sort of brought her arm across, didn't she? She kind of dropped her arm. I think that's probably just trying to adjust for and knowing it was going to go left still.
Yes, 10.
Confident start from Molly Nugent.
Yes.
And that will be a comforting 10 for Rodriguez. 7 to draw this set. Anything more, and Nugent will be in the lead. And it's a fine trio of arrows from her. Probably a 28. Could possibly be a 29, but it matters not. She's taken the first set and will go 2-0 up into the second. I mean, the great thing about this scoring system, as well as being different, obviously, from the accumulator that we get in compound archery, is that you could reset. So this is not done for Rodriguez by any stretch of the imagination. However, a good second set from Molly Nugent, and she'll be thinking of trying to finish this one in 9 arrows.
Yeah, and sometimes that becomes a problem. Often people go 4-0 up and then, oh, hang on, I might win this. And then they start to drop points. But yeah, it was such a strong start from Molly Nugent. Really impressed, to come out and just shoot possibly a 29 there. Really, really great shooting. Like you said, we're over 70 metres. That 10, if you can remember what they are, those CDs, DVDs, that's the size of the 10 ring up there. So it's just not easy. They're making it look easy. Quite impressive start.
I'm going to set you a challenge, Nikki. Before the Hyundai Archery World Cup Finals in October, you've got to update that CD reference. Our young viewers have no idea what you're talking about.
Think about last time, a watermelon or something. Or, yeah.
A grapefruit, maybe. So 2-0 up for the American Molly Nugent after the first set. So, as always, the trailing archer will shoot first. Showed promise at the end of the first set, finding the centre of the target. Can she keep that up?
Yes.
See a little bit of black tape on the chin of Nugent there. It's just where she's getting into contact with her anchor point. Sometimes that gets a little bit sore.
8.
Bit of pressure on this arrow.
7.
It's drifted over to the right. So these the grouping in the first set was so good for Nugent. Now it's a little wider. That will put the set out of reach. So a bit of a reset arrow for Molly Nugent here.
7.
Well, I love it when you wince before we've even seen where the arrow's going. You must have seen something there, Nikki. What was it?
Well, it's another quick shot, but something just wasn't right. Was it the balance of the shot? I think maybe just a bit of a forward release. We'll have a look, hopefully, at that last one. That she knew, I knew. It wasn't right.
Para la segunda serie, 2 puntos de set para cada arquera.
This to be a nice dynamic
Official
movement.
score,
It's a small
2
tiny
set
movement,
points
but it
for
always
each
moves
archer.
front arm forward, back arm around. I think this is the second arrow of hers, so see that back elbow just sort of going around. Lovely shot, nice follow through. Okay, went a little bit to the right. We've got some mastery conditions down there, but hopefully we can compare it to the very last shot. Slight forward release on that one as well, actually. This is the one. It just kind of had a funny balance. The back arm went first, the front arm went after, and she's got to get out of her mind now. Right, you said before, brand new set here, all to play for, back to what she was doing at the beginning.
Yeah, she's got plenty of experience, Molly Nugent, 5th at the 2022 World Games in Birmingham, Alabama, on home soil. Here in this gold medal match, but Rodriguez has fought her way back to 2 set points each as we move into the third set.
Ocho, 8.
Well, that was a more normal looking shot for her. We saw front and back kind of nice and balanced through the follow through when the arrow left. A little bit of shaking movement here.
Oh dear. Now you don't often see a 6 at this level, but I'm wondering now if that wind has picked up. You can just see that parasol starting to move around again.
So that definitely was a forward release. You just saw the fingers on the string go forward, and that's why it dipped really low.
Low scoring for the pair of them here. But that 10 puts the set out of reach with, believe it or not, a 24.
9.
Settled down a good recovery arrow, but a 22 at this level, well, normally wouldn't cut it, but it's only been beaten by a 24. I'm not sure I remember the last time I saw a set one with 24 points.
Yeah, it's really unusual. But like we said, these guys are under quite extreme pressure. Continental qualifier tournament as well, so really got to try and keep your mind on the job and not what's going on around you.
Resultado parcial no oficial, Cuba 4 puntos de set.
The backhand, string hand.
Estados Unidos 2 puntos de set.
And it dropped low.
Cuba
when you talk about the hand going forwards, would that then naturally make the arrow drop low?
Yeah, because you're losing some of that strength of the bow. As you pull that bow back, these recurves, those limbs bend, adds poundage, and that's what sends the arrow at speed. If you let the string go forward of your fingers before letting go, if that makes sense, you kind of reduce how much power you're going to get out of that shot. So that's why the arrow's then going to dip low.
Well, after an impressive start, Molly Nugent finds herself 4 set points to 2 down, so she will shoot first in this 4th set. Can she find the form that she had in the first?
8.
It looked a better shot.
Eight.
These archers should have a mental process, fill in their mind with what to do. Again, that was a poor one, but she got away with it. I think she just threw her arm up.
Bit of quando there, wasn't there?
It was. I don't feel confident. How she needs to reset now and try and make this the best shot she can.
Big shot, this one.
8.
She's put it into the 8, so this can now be done with this arrow. An 8 to take us into a 5th. Anything more, and Rodriguez has gold.
9.
And it's a 9 to finish things off with a 26. It was some low-scoring arrows in the 3rd and 4th set, but more than enough for Elizabeth Rodriguez of Cuba to claim the title here at the Copa Merengue. What a curious match, Nikki.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, Molly Nugent came out so strongly with that 29 in the first, and then just kind of lost her way, didn't she? I think her shot broke down, forward releasing, so that string coming forward off her fingers, and yeah, just a bit of a nightmare for her, unfortunately. But Rodriguez was more stable throughout, wasn't she? She kept her shot.
Medalla de oro para Elizabeth Rodriguez de Cuba.
Match from her.
Gold medal, Elizabeth Rodriguez from Cuba. Medalla de plata para Molly Nugent de Estados Unidos. Silver medal. Molly Nugent from the United States of America
will be taking the gold medal on the short trip back to Cuba. We'll see her on top of the podium at the end of this session. So just like that, we've got one more to go, Nikki. They're flying through the matches here.
They really are.
Still to come, the Recurve men's gold medal match.
A continuación, el último partido de la jornada, el partido por medalla de oro.
Judges and the coaches are coming out, athletes waiting in the wings, and a more familiar name is amongst them.
The Recurve men gold medal match. Démosle la bienvenida a los arqueros y entrenadores al campo. Please welcome the coaches and athletes to the field of play. En el blanco número 1, representando a Cuba, on target number 1, representing Cuba, Hugo Franco. En el blanco número 2, representando a Islas Vírgenes Americanas, on target number 2, representing U.S. Virgin Islands, Nicolás Damour. Juez de línea de este match, the line judge for this match, Talía Rojano.
So we have the 30-year-old Cuban Hugo Franco on target number 1. Got a gold medal at the Mexico Grand Prix back in 2018. He's up against the 21-year-old world number 14, Nicolás Damour from the US Virgin Islands. Went to the Tokyo Olympic Games, got a silver at the Vegas shoot this year, and also took a silver at the Antalya European Grand Prix in 2021. There he is, and it will be Damour to get the match underway.
Nueve, 9. Ocho, 8. 10, 10.
Damour in the middle of the target after his 9-sighter. A bit of movement there in the arm from Franco, though.
Siete, 7.
So, an opportunity for Franco. Can he steal this set with a 10? Another drag across, meaning that even I can tell that the archer's not completely happy with where that arrow was going. And we've got 26 playing 25 here, with Damour taking the first 2 set points, subject, of course, to the target judge's confirmation. Nikki, Damour started with a 9, moved over to the 10. That's 7. Was there anything in particular you saw there?
Strange one, really. Didn't see anything crazy out of shape or anything. I don't know whether we had a bit more wind on the microphone at that point. We have had some gusting through this venue, so whether it was an issue around that, I'm not entirely sure. But I think one of the main things between these competitors, I mean, Nicolás Damour, we've known and seen him along many stages through this year, but they're quite different in their techniques. So Nicolás Damour, his coach, goes down the theory of the Kisik-Lee method, where we see that draw kind of out the side, whereas Hugo Franco here, he's much more what we call linear in his draw. So he's drawing sort of straight towards his chin. The differences. We're not seeing the draw of these archers in the replays, unfortunately, but look out for it next end to see if you can see how Nicolás Damour draws kind of out and round, as opposed to Franco's more linear.
There you go, something to spot as we head into this second set of the Recurve men's gold medal match. Hugo Franco from Cuba trailing, so he'll start this second set, and there you see what Nikki was talking about.
9.
Get a good straight off comparison now.
Another one out to the left there. See how he draws like a straight line straight back under his chin. Just give a bit longer, force that one through a little bit. As opposed to Nicolás Damour, can you see how much out of his face he is, and he comes into that anchor point.
10, 10.
Another big arrow here. Franco needs something special to put a bit of pressure on Damour.
9, 9.
Is that going to be enough?
Well,
he's drifted it off into the 8 for 26, so the athletes share the points in the second set, so it means Demore maintains his 2-set point lead at 3-1.
Resultado parcial no oficial, Cuba,
this is just a little curious.
set.
I'm wondering whether it is the wind, because it looks fairly still,
Unofficial score,
but then every
Cuba
now and again we see a curious arrow straying off.
Yeah, it's not one. Sometimes for right-handed archers, there can be a little bit of a release error, particularly looking like their back elbows. Is there at full draw? Is that means the elbow still going round? Is it moving slightly forwards? Perhaps here we did see a little bit of movement there. And is that release just slightly different? That was the 10. Of course it was. Archery makes no sense sometimes. There's so many variables. You know, he might have been aiming slightly differently. But yeah, looking for these little intricate differences. Again, look at that back elbow. Does it move forward or is it going round? Pretty good, but again, this is the 8, so curious.
Yeah, you're talking about all these movements. I mean, they're absolutely micro movements. Only really an archer, an experienced archer, can spot them. Even with those close-ups, very tricky to see. But one thing we have noticed about Franco is all his arrows are low. He needs to fix that. Surely if he does, he's got a really good chance of coming back in this match.
There we go. Karim, he's listening to you. He's got that sight sorted. First high shot of the match.
Yes.
Can they keep this up now?
Awesome movement.
So
Hear the
controlled.
wind. Ah, do you see that release? That was definitely a release error. You saw the fingers just open up, straight forward. So I think some of these left arrows are related.
Well, 9 to draw level.
9 posible 10. Impossible 10.
As you can hear, possible line cutter, but a 9 is enough. Demore can only score 27, but he's drifted off to the left as well. Second arrow in a row going off to the left, so it's at 3 set points each. They started so well. The pair of them looked like they were going to start banging it into the 10s, but it wasn't the case. But you have to say, it's a big step up from Franco.
Yeah, it is. He's shooting really well. I mean, on paper, number 222 in the world versus the number 14. I didn't think he had a chance. I thought we might see a 6-0, but he's fighting for this. You know, he's made a match of it. 3-all in the third, and we're not going to see anyone take it in the fourth. But what a match we've got on our hands.
And you talk about, you know, I think we both expected Demore to run away with this. He hasn't done so, but the experience that he has over Franco may well play its part in these final 2 sets.
Yeah, when the pressure really comes down to it now, you know, Demore has been there before, he's done it, but he's in a bad place with his shot at the moment, in my opinion, so he needs to reset now and make those good shots he knows he can do.
Well, start of the 4th set, all square between Demore and Franco. And it will be US Virgin Islander to shoot first.
Nine. 8. 8.
Both going left.
9.
Don't think it's conditions.
Yes. 10.
Now, there was a bit of movement at the end of that.
Yeah, it was flamboyant, and he kind of saved it, didn't he? But he made a 10 of it.
8.
Now, there's a big opportunity here for Hugo Franco. Can he take the lead? A 9 or more will do it.
8.
He's put it into the 12, so another 26 each, and we're at 4-4. I mean, that was a big arrow, because had he got a 9 or more, he would have been on 5 set points going into the last, knowing that all he had to do was match what Nicholas de Moor did.
Yeah, it would have been a huge advantage.
4 points.
Yeah, sorry, it would have been a huge
Cuba,
advantage.
4 set points for US Virgin Islands.
Pretty smooth in that. The amount of time he was at full draw for was reasonable as well. It wasn't a really long one, was it? But the advantage he would have had, like you said, only then having to match what Nicholas de Moor did. And even if he lost it, it would go to the tie break. So we're back to square one, really, aren't we? It's 4 apiece. And yeah, is it going to be for de Moor to pick himself up right now, or draw on his experience from the past? I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you look at that target face for de Moor. All the holes are to the left, as were those 3 arrows in that last set. And you look at these ones, it's just a couple above the centre line for Franco. Everything else is low. So shouldn't both of them be thinking about just slightly adjusting their sight or where they're aiming?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not that easy. If you know you've got a bit of a technical error, you just want to fix the error and shoot good arrows rather than just lose your sight.
Big deep breath from Nicholas de Moor. We go into the 5th and final regulation set. All square.
Yes, 10.
So again, a line cutter gets the higher score. A nerve settling 10 for de Moor.
Yes.
Matched by Franco. Oh. 2 more arrows each to decide this gold medal.
9, 9.
I think he knew that was going to go a bit high. We saw him drop his front arm a little bit there. Seems to be back on it. Flamboyant, and
6.
forced it through the clicker.
Well, a 7 to guarantee a tie-break, an 8 for the gold medal.
9.
And he gets a 9. It was a up and down match for Nicholas de Moor. Of course, Hugo Franco has to shoot his final arrow for the scorebooks, but he cannot match de Moor. Can he finish with a 10 just outside on the 9 for a 25? But Nicholas de Moor has taken this Recurve men's gold medal match. It wasn't his best archery, that's for sure, but it was more than enough to take the title here at the Copa Merengue. Well, another curious match there, because I think it's, there are windy conditions out there. It is blustery, but it's not just about that, is it, Nikki? You were kind of indicating that not everything was perfect from any of those or either of those archers.
Yeah, definitely some technical errors.
Official gold medal. Nicholas de Moor from US Virgin Islands. Medalla de plata para Hugo Franco de Cuba. Silver medal. Hugo Franco from Cuba.
And, you know,
Un aplauso a estos dos grandes arqueros.
Amazingly well, to be fair. We thought that could be a quick one, but well done to him as well for taking that silver medal.
Yeah, he took advantage, or nearly took advantage of the opportunity given to him, but he, of course, will get the silver medal. The gold going to Nicholas de Moor from the US Virgin Islands.
Muy buenos días, está con nosotros Elizabeth Rodríguez, ganadora de la medalla de oro en el arco recurvo femenino. Elizabeth, ¿cómo ha sido esta competencia después de haber estado prácticamente un año sin competir internacionalmente?
Esta competencia era muy importante para mí, ya lo has dicho, llevamos un año y pico sin competir y ha servido de muchísima experiencia en lo particular.
La posibilidad de enfrentarte a deportistas de Estados Unidos, de otros países con alto nivel, ¿qué te ha parecido?
Eso es muy importante, estar en un evento que tenga su cierto nivel nos sirve muchísimo para nosotros, que nos pasamos tanto tiempo sin competir, ganar en eso, ¿no?
¿El próximo evento importante que tienes?
Es en Chile, el clasificatorio panamericano.
Ok, bueno, muchas felicidades Elizabeth por esta medalla de oro, que también es oro por equipos, y que tengas muchos éxitos en los próximos eventos.
Muchas gracias.
Nicholas. Nicholas Demore, winner of the gold medal here in the individual recurve men event. Nicholas, has this tournament been to you?
Well, I was shooting really well this whole tournament. Had a few equipment issues. I actually had 2 sets of limbs break, which caused me to lose some points in the qualification round. Therefore, I was ranked number 2 instead of number 1, which I felt like I should have been. But other than that, I was shooting really well in the team matches, shooting really well in all my other matches here. And unfortunately, we lost the team position for the Central American Caribbean Games, but I feel though I shot my best there, and I only dropped 2 9s during that whole match, so I was happy with my performance there. And then in terms of my performance here in this finals, in the individual gold medal match, I don't really feel like I did my best. Definitely, I feel like I lost the match, even though I did win it, but that's the way the sport goes sometimes. Sometimes it's a bit of luck, and I think I got a bit lucky here.
Yeah, well, but you have the gold medal anyway. You've had a long season this year, and there's still more tournaments to come. What is the most important event that you're looking at now before the end of the year?
The most important event for this year, so going forward, is just the Pan American Championships in Chile, and I will be focusing to do my best there, so let's hope for the best.
Okay, thank you and congratulations.
A little downhearted there, Nicholas Demore. And I know that, your archer's a perfectionist. He wasn't happy about that final at all, even though he's taken the gold medal.
Yeah, but it's not about the gold medal. It's about, his ability to go out and do his process under pressure. That's what these events are about. And yeah, sometimes you get lucky and you win. And I guess if it was the Olympic Games, he'd be ecstatic. But it's not about that. It's this journey through all these tournaments and getting your technique right and just making sure under pressure it stays. And he's got stuff to work on. I'm sure he'll go away over the winter now and work on those little bits, fine-tune it, and come back stronger.
We're taking a look back over that gold medal match between Demore and Franco. Neither of them really at the races, and interesting that Demore mentioned that he broke 2 limbs in the qualification round, and that dropped his ranking all the way down to number 2.
Yeah, it's pretty exceptional to have issues like that with your equipment. So yeah, he did rank second with 659 out of possible 720, which maybe is a little bit uncharacteristic for him. But again, it's just luck of the draw. Sometimes you have an issue, you've got to come back. So great learnings for him, I'm sure, from this tournament, and he'll be back stronger, as I said.
Yeah, looking forward, as he said, to the Pan American Games after a incredibly long season. Nicholas Demore has taken the last of our gold medals here at the Copa Merengue in the recurve men's individual tournament. Well, we've got an interesting view at the moment. The organisers are currently preparing for the 4 medal ceremonies. And we have looked like we've lost the sound again from the venue. But there is the podium, getting ready for the first of the medal ceremonies. We have to assume the medal ceremonies are going to go in the same order as the matches. So if that is the case, we will start with the compound women's individual victory ceremony. Been a long tournament for the archers, but also, of course, for the volunteers here in these fairly warm conditions. They're looking like they're ready to go and sip a pina colada on the beach, I think. been a long tournament, and the organisers there just in their final lap of medal ceremonies. 4 to come here in this fantastic Dominican Republic. You've shot there, Nikki.
I have. They hosted a leg of the World Cup back in 2007, I believe. So, yeah, it was a while ago. I remember about that trip, actually. We had a massive storm through the head-to-heads, which is very interesting. Some of the archers managed to get their arrows off, and like if you could see it coming, shoot quickly. And some archers didn't see it coming and had a rather bad end in the head-to-head. So it was interesting conditions through the week.
Well, it looks like the conditions played a part today as well, didn't they? You can just see the flags on the left-hand side fluttering away. It looks fairly... it doesn't look like a strong breeze, but it's definitely not a consistent one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about being on an island, isn't it? I think, you're going to suffer a lot more with these kind of wind conditions, but you can see this is obviously a venue for archery, I imagine. You can see the banking in the background, and then the wall above that as well. So not only for safety, obviously, for an archery range, but that blocks out a lot of the wind as well, which can be really good. So certainly helps.
And we saw in that last match, Damour's arrows all going to the left, and as you can see, the wind is blowing across left to right. So perhaps he was aiming off for the wind and it didn't quite pick up the arrows enough.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Those little flags on top of the targets as well, they don't give you that much information. You're looking for other factors around the field. Often we see big feather flags or windsocks, but yeah, just trying to judge it on those little flags above the target. They are regulation size for World Archery. Recurve archers can see those at full draw, so all the way through the shot process they can see that in their peripheral vision. But the compounders, they are shooting at 50 meters on a smaller face, but because compounders look through a peep sight in the back of the string and a magnified scope, they actually can't see any changes in wind conditions. As soon as they're drawn up, you're looking down your sight and those other factors have gone, so you've got to rely a little bit more on what you're feeling, what sounds are going on around you. You kind of learn, there's trees in the background over there, you might know what they sound like as the wind comes through, and using a bit of that information instead.
Well, tricky conditions for the archers, and it looks like it's fairly tricky conditions for the flag bearers. They're struggling in the wind. So it's proving just a little difficult. So how about a game of what flag is that, Nikki? The flag on the right-hand side. So obviously you know the two flags in the middle and on the left.
I think so. I'm not so good at my flags sometimes. See, I was expecting this to be the compound women's podium, but I don't think it can be, can it? Because I was expecting a Guatemalan flag in silver position, and that's not the Guatemalan flag, I don't believe.
Well, it looks like we may well be having...
Guess the podium.
I don't know now. Well, there's not a USA flag there, so it's not the Recurve women's.
Right. Okay, that's the easiest one out of the way. So who we got in the middle? I thought that was Peru actually in the middle, but I'm going to be wrong, aren't I?
Well, no Peruvian won, so that'll be difficult.
No,
the winners were from Ecuador, Cuba, Costa Rica, and the
Virgin Islands.
American Virgin Islands. I wonder what we're about to see.
I think we might be about to see the team medals, perhaps.
I think
is that
you
Peru,
may well be.
Colombia?
No, it's Ecuador on the left.
Oh, it's Ecuador on the left. It's similar to the Colombian flag.
Yeah, Chile's in the middle, and I think that's the host nation flag on the right-hand side. That doesn't match up to any of the results we've got in the individual competition. So I think your deduction, Watson, is spot on. I think we're about to see some team medal medal ceremonies.
I'm not very good at my flags, but I know a bit more about archery.
Well, it would seem that neither of us are very good at flags, so you're one up on me of having some archery knowledge.
Yeah, so we've got Chile in the middle, Ecuador in second, and Dominican Republic in third.
So, I think we're about to see the compound mixed team medal ceremony. And my suspicion, Nikki, is that we're going to be playing this game for quite some time if they're going to go through all the team medals as well.
Yeah.
Well, the wait sounds like it's almost over, and we'll get to find out which discipline we are going to see. We think it's the compound mixed team athletes coming out for their victory ceremony. There's nothing like a plan, is there, Nikki?
And this is nothing like a plan.
Very good.
Mateo Leas, Blanca Rodrigo, Alejandro Martín y Bernardita Viaba en la dirección de tiro. Leas, Blanca Rodrigo, citados en dirección de tiro. Mateo Leas y Blanca Rodrigo. Alejandro Martín de Chile y Bernardita Viaba de Chile solicitados en dirección de tiro.
So, we've heard the athletes from Chile being called. Well, a slight delay in proceedings, and unfortunately that means that it looks like we are going to leave the medal ceremonies for those in the venue in the Caribbean. Nikki Hunt, thank you very much for your expert opinion, much needed as always.
Thanks for having me, Corinne. It's been good fun.
It certainly has been. And thanks to all of you for watching this Copa Merengue coverage from the Dominican Republic. We're going to leave it there. We'll see you next time.